Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you? You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah!
When you put them on the job, if they're not doing the job, then you fire them. Because you're in control. From the city to the state to Congress to the president. You run this.
Hello, Talk Labor fans. Good to be back with you again. Hey, wasn't it nice to see the president again? Wasn't it nice to see our guy again? Makes you remember that this country did have a president at one time. It was so nice to see him and Melody Thompson and Mrs. Obama, Michelle, and just a whole host of great people. Again, we saw how America really is supposed to be working. I got a lot of things to talk to you about today. My topics today are about unions, local union elections. We're going to talk about our history, and we're going to also talk about what's going on with the Republican Party. You know what? I got right in front of me some papers that, I sort of jotted some things down on just so I can remember what it is I want to talk to you about. And I think the biggest things is unions and union elections. You got some local elections coming up here in Chicago. ATU Local 241 just had their election. Now ATU Local 308 is about to have theirs, and we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. But before we do, I want you to just think about some of the things that make unions great. You have people nowadays that take unions for granted. You have some people today that actually want to get rid of unions. Let's talk about what the hell unions do. I'm going to run down a list in case you run up on some people like I do every once in a while that say, oh, I don't want no union. Union don't, A, B, C, and D. I'm going to give you some talking points that you can give to people and just kind of jog their memories and make them understand what the hell unions are all about. Number one, unions end child labor. Back in the day, your kids had to go to work. And this is the way they want to get it back today. They want to get it back to damn near slavery days. They established legal rights for workers to form a union so you can have collective bargaining. So you can go in and bargain for better wages and stuff like that. The unions established the 8-hour working day. Back in the day, I know with transportation, they used to have horse-pulled carriages when they, instead of having like the trains they have today and buses, they had horses. But now they would give the horses, after 4 hours, the horses had to have a rest. But the people that worked had to keep working. So they worked harder than they did the animals back then. But unions got you that 8-hour workday. They won you benefits and the right to join unions. And then they secured unemployment insurance for workers who lose their job. Like say you lose your job. So they say, well, we don't need you anymore. Well, unions came in and said, well, okay, you got to give them some other alternative. And they came up with unemployment. They want to get rid of that. They secured the minimum wage. That was unions. So you got to have a minimum wage. You can't just pay people anything. They improved the workplace safety and reduced job fatalities. You all don't know how important that is until you lose it. But they would like for you to, when I say they, I'm talking about the 1%, would like to take that away from you now. But you don't know, a lot of people don't know what you have. You don't know what, like, I'll give you an example. I'm going to talk a little bit later about the elections at ATU Local 241 and 308. Just one little bitty example. They did a whole lot of dumb things because they didn't know. But one thing they did was they gave away their premium pay. Meaning that if you had to work on holidays, you got time and a half. They gave away the half. They just said, well, you You're not going to. CTA told them, Chicago Transit Authority told them, we want that from you. You just get paid 8 hours. I can see it if you bargain it away and then, something like, well, give us $2 an hour more, and we'll give up the 4-hour premium pay. But they didn't get anything for it. Because, they don't know. This is why they take advantage of you. A lot of times people just don't know. Now, they also want pensions for you. Today, and I'm talking about these two locals again, they're under a defined pension plan. Defined pension plan means that your pension, you come in and you put it in as a pool, and your pension grow, and you're guaranteed your pension when you leave. They want to get rid of that. Now, just about everybody in Illinois, every organization in Illinois have defined pension plan. They want to get rid of that now. They don't want you to have that anymore. They say you can have a 401k. That's when they can go out and gamble your money away and you'll be broke. Then you come back, well, hey, all my money's gone. Too bad. But with defined pension plans, they can't do that. They can't go out and gamble your money away. You got to guarantee it. And they don't want to do that anymore. Unions did that for you. Healthcare insurance for workers. Unions did that for you. You had sick leave. You got sick leave, vacation days, holidays. And those are just standard benefits that you have. And you were in the right for public sector jobs, like the ones I'm talking about, ATU 308 and 241. They wouldn't allow you to have a union, but they won the right to have a union for public sector jobs. And now the public sector jobs are the strongest unions out there, and they're trying to tear them down now. They want passage of the Civil Rights Act. Title VII, which outlaws job discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. A lot of you all don't realize that. But that's what unions did for you. Occupational Health and Safety, OSHA. Family Medical Leave Act. I can just go on and on and on about unions and why unions exist. But I got a lot I want to talk to you about your unions and what you do. And I want you to take a look at a book that I wrote. It's called Ungrateful, The Rise and Fall of Labor Unions. Pick that book up. Did real well on the market out there. You can pick it up at Barnes & Noble. You can pick it up at Amazon. You can go in there and pull it off online. You can get an ebook. I want you to read that book so you know exactly what's going on right now with you and your unions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to really give you some insight on unions and what's going on. And I'm going to talk about the election coming up with ATU Local 308 and the election that you just had with your local ATU Local 241. So I'll be right back, right after this message here.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Okay, we're back. Unions have been in trouble for a while. I tell you this all the time, and it's in the book, Ungrateful. When you choose a union leader, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your history on these people. This is your livelihood, your family's livelihood, and the whole community depends on you to do the right thing. When you go in and just you go in and elect, hey, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna vote for my buddy because we go out and drink beer together. Big mistake. I'm gonna go because we play softball together. Big mistake. We play basketball. Big mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I've looked at these guys and over the years, not just 308, 241, because I used to be president of a union myself, 308. Longest serving president ever in the history of that local. And I got around the country and I got to see how all unions work. And if you don't stand up and fight for your own union, well, shame on you. People ask me a lot of time, Jerry, why do you care, man? Why don't you just forget those people? And that old saying, if not me, then who? Somebody's got to tell the people. I'm going to keep telling you. Hopefully it sinks in. If it don't sink in, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, one of the things that happened with these unions here, with the Union 241, they just had an election. The guy that they put in is the same guy that caused havoc with the people that had retired and with the active people. What I mean about that, he was part of the group that went down to Springfield and helped pass a bill that attacked our pension and attacked the active members by making them pay health care trust. Now, when they passed that bill, they didn't just pass the bill in opposition to 241 and 308. They passed it on all the unions down there. But the only union that got hurt, that had to pay, was 308 and 241. And the character that's in there now is one of the people that were down there in favor of this bill that they passed. And when he came back, we tried to tell him 8-9 years ago, that's wrong. Don't do it. It's violating the law. You can't. He says, well, you union guys got to pay something anyway. Not understanding that I say you union guys, you pension guys have to pay something anyway. So why, not understanding that the pension guys paid money before he was out of Pampers. I don't know if they had Pampers when he was a kid, but anyway, we paid out to. And some of the things he told people was just totally ridiculous. He says, pensioners, you're not participants in the plan. You're just recipients. That's what he told some of his people. And they'll stand up and testify to that. And he basically said that, in the bill it said that you should have a representative on there, pensioners should. He said that you shouldn't have one, and these guys, the trade unions who have 200 or less members, have to be on the board because they have to represent their people. Retirees are 9,000 strong. Nobody's there to represent retirees. The bill says that a retiree should be there, but they're not. He's not making a fuss to get the retirees there. This guy is totally, totally whacked. He don't know what the hell he's doing. I'll tell him that to his face. Anytime he wants to speak on that, he can come here, I'll come there. I'll tell him that. Wake up. I'd like to see you do good. But if you are under the impression that these guys are right, you turning on your retiree, you turning on everybody else, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. A retiree should be sitting on that board. But because the union don't represent retirees, you do not represent retirees. So we have to represent ourselves. He doesn't understand that. Now, let's get to Local 308. They got an election coming up next month, I believe, or the end of this month. And you got about 4 candidates running for president. I won't even touch the other offices because I don't know the people. But I am familiar with the people that's running for office of president. And I'm going to, of the 4 people that are running, I'm going to suggest, or if I were voting, I'd be voting for Charles Peacock. He's about the only one that's been through the ringer, that knows what's going on, that's not out there trying to play games, that really has the concern of the members at heart. So I would go with that guy. I don't know who you guys and how it's running out there, but you got to go in, dig into the history. Don't go with my boy or my girl or my whatever. Go with the best qualified person. Now, I don't want to have to break it all the way down, but I would go with Mr. Peacock because I know him. I've known him a long time. I'm not saying that he's the greatest union a person ever walked the earth, but when you talk about the 4 people that's running, I'd say he's the best person for that job. So I would definitely go with that young man because he's the person that listens. He'll listen to people that know and will act on it. Won't tell you one thing and then do something else. So with these unions, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to know what's going on, and there is a lot going on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get in depth with that on upcoming shows. But right now, I would say that you want to go that route. What I'm going to do, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about what's going on with this racist attitude here in America. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of our history. And when I say our history, I mean all of our history. We'll be right back.
Why?
Why?
Why are you following me?
Why my hoodie make me look suspicious?
Why does my music make me dangerous?
Why are people that are supposed to protect me attacking me?
Why are you afraid of me? Why do you think I'm dangerous?
Why do I afraid of people who are supposed to protect me?
Why can't I make a peace sign without you labeling it a gang sign?
Why does standing your ground only work when I'm on the ground?
Why do you show this photo over this one?
Why do you only stop and frisk me?
Why do you have low expectations for me?
Why can't I run down the street without causing alarms?
Why do you think I'm a thug?
Why do you assume I'm armed?
Why can I breathe?
Why is my mom scared every time I leave the house?
Why are you targeting me?
Why am I a target? Why?
Why? I know why.
And it has to stop.
It must stop.
Because I have dreams.
Because I can change the world.
Because I will make a difference.
Because I have a family.
Because I am strong.
Because I'm talented.
I have a voice.
I can find a cure.
I have goals.
I can lead the country.
I am determined.
I have a future.
Because I'm a scholar.
I am powerful.
I'm someone's friend.
I'm someone's brother.
I'm someone's son.
Someone loves me.
And because my life matters too.
My life matters.
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 Our lives matter.
And so did theirs.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to talk about America right now. What's going on in our country? You know, don't ever let anybody tell you this is their country and I ought to take my country back. Bullshit. This is our country. That means black, white, brown, everybody that's a citizen of this country. This is our country. Nobody taking the thing away from you. That was back in the old days. Those days are gone. You cannot go back and get the horse and buggy. It's gone. You know? So we're moving forward. But you got to keep your eyes open. You got to keep your eyes open. I told you all, and I'm going to find that clip and show you. In 2007, I told you that the neocons were going to take over the Republican Party. And damn it, they didn't. That's when Obama was running for president. I said the neocons are going to take over. They use everybody they can. They use these guys call themselves Tea Party to take over. They used the hell out of them, and then threw them to the dogs. Now they're using the poorly educated. In other words, the hillbillies. The people don't have any clue as to what's going on. All they know is hate. Hate. I hate you because of your color. Most people, if you all, and I understand this, most people, and some animals will do this. They will protect their own. Meaning if you're white, you're going to first try to protect the white. But once you find out that black is not going to kill you, everything is cool. Or if you're black, you're going to try to protect black. But once you find out white is cool, you're all right. But Republicans do this. They use that instinct to divide people so that they could maintain control. They use the fact that the instinct of most people is to protect their own. So they use that to divide us up so that we hate each other. I hate them hillbillies because and I hate them niggers because, this is the way we go about it. Man, think about this. The only difference between us is melanin in our skin. That's the only difference. We bleed the same. We walk the same. We talk the same. We do the same things. But that's the only difference. But people will use that to try to control. Back in the day, you had people that were called indentured servants. Kind of like slavery, but you were contracted to work for, I think, indentured service for like 14 years. And then you get your freedom to do anything you want. Black men, white women, that's the way it was. But somebody got the bright idea to try to have slaves, and then in every society you got some savages, and these savages got a hold to it, and to just put us in boats like sardines and just threw you overboard when you died, and you didn't give a damn. That was back then. That don't work anymore. Prior to that, now, don't think that they were the only ones. Our kings and queens, they did the same thing. They had some slaves and stuff, and they, I don't think it was quite as savage as these people were, but they did the same thing. So people in power would do that. They'll do that to stay in power. If we did what God intended for us to do, all of us to enjoy the fruits of this land, and everybody would be fine and happy. But when they started gathering up food and holding food from you and gathering up other items and holding them, that made them powerful, and you had to come to them and beg. That's how it all started. So just recognize that these are the things that's happening now. Now, this country here was the closest country to being a democratic country, because we did have laws, and we still have laws that we live by. And we want to make sure that those things stay into place. We want to make sure that they stay into place. We got to fight. That Mueller came down with some charges the other day with Manafort and this guy Gates and I think it's Papadopoulos, and he got 4 others that people don't realize. He got 4 other indictments that they haven't opened yet. And I think it'll burn a lot of people. So if America follows through on its laws like it's supposed to and put these people in jail that committed treason against this country, then America is strong. But if America don't, and the Republicans are so power hungry that they will do anything to try to keep power. But if America don't, and they let them get away with this, say goodbye to America. You better go start picking up your guns and things. But I do think I got faith in America. I got faith in the people here. The majority of the people in this country, black, white, brown, are intelligent enough to know and to make sure that these laws are followed. That's one thing I do have faith in. You got the crazy man in there. I think you had to have that crazy man in there to see, because we had gotten a little methodical. We had gotten a little logic. We had gotten to a point where we were so complacent that anything goes. But I think it's kind of waking people up right now. They're kind of waking people up right now. But I tell you what, our time is almost up, and we're going to come back next week. But before we do, I want you to take a little bit of history. I want you to see this young man do his thing on the piano. This was way back, even before I was born. That was a long time ago. But show you how intelligent and how talented and smart you have been for years. I want you to take a look at this, and then we're going to see you next week. We're going to go out of here with this, okay? All right. Take a look at this.
You been shaving?
No, I always look like this.
It has good wood, man, but don't listen. See what I mean?
Hey, it's a player piano.
That's no player, that's me.
Well, don't stop. Play something.
But I really have to look for my old man.
Not now. Later.